Yo, I'm over here with a Rapaholics video talking about Akademiks getting apparently arrested and swatted. Now, I seen it on Twitter that he was already in cuffs, and I don't know anything else other than that. So I don't know what led up to what was happening or anything. But last thing I seen from him, at least, was that he wasn't even gonna cover what was happening with Joey Badass and Ray Vaughn with Daylight. And now all this is happening? Dang.
Ladies and gentlegrams, in today's episode, the Big Mac a Snacka Hamburglar got busted by the boys in blue. The pigs have swatted the estate of the Whopper with a wig. La Brianna's lard-laden lover got laced with a loss of freedom temporarily. The tartar tempura
Dude's
and
always
teriyaki
spitting with these intros, man.
Big Mackey attacker had the cops at his house. The SWAT team came out, and we have all the footage, so we will break it all
there
down.
was
But
footage?
first, ladies and gentlegrams,
I thought it was
you
just
see
a
those like and
picture.
subscribe buttons? I need you to destroy it and smash it the same way Big Mac a Snacka Diddy does to a sandwich. Now, for the ones with
Damn.
low attention spans, just to spare you the details, Akadiddy has already been released, and this was a
he's
fake
released?
call that he got to his house. So he's not in any legal trouble, although it should be a crime to glaze Drake as hard as he does. But no, if this was a serious
Wait, so what
situation, he was
happened?
actually locked up, or if he committed a crime, I wouldn't be spilling out these rhymes the way I did on the intro. Incarceration is no laughing matter, and honestly, this is not really a laughing matter either. It's kind of scary when you break down what actually happened here. Like, Akademiks should very much consider probably putting this house on the market and moving somewhere else. So let's break it all
Damn, bro,
down.
what happened?
Firstly, Akadiddy, if you haven't been keeping up, has been definitely keeping up himself with the Diddy trial that's going on. He's covering it front to back extensively. He got access to a collection of text messages between Cassie and Diddy. He was reading them on stream. He's covered every single transcript of every single day of the trial so far. And I say all that to say, I mean, he's dealing with very touchy subject matter here, and he's attracting a much larger audience, right? Because he's not just
Yeah.
streaming to the typical, 10, 15,000 people that are tuning in for hip-hop topics. He's now streaming and reporting the news, specifically this
the
Diddy
Diddy
trial,
case.
to a whole new cast of people, some of who may have never
Wait, but where is he streaming at? I thought he was like banned on Twitch, unless he got unbanned.
heard of Akademiks before this Diddy trial. And of course, Akademiks, being who he is, has come in with some pretty controversial takes. His stream has fostered some very disturbing discussions about the Diddy trial. I don't want to say he's necessarily been insensitive to any
I'm not gonna lie, I
potential
don't even be
victims of
watching
Diddy.
him
I
to,
haven't
like-
been watching his stream extensively enough to say, but I have seen some things that definitely seem distasteful and could most definitely rub people the wrong way. Him saying
Dang,
things
what is he
like
saying?
Cassie wasn't coerced into the freak off, she enjoyed it. I'm paraphrasing here. Those are not Akademiks' exact words. But of
Oh.
course, him covering a topic as sensitive as that, he's not handling it without a little bit of dark humor and controversy. He was also entertaining Whack 100's claims that Lauren London and Nipsey Hussle might have been involved with Cassie and Diddy. My point is, he's been
So he's
streaming
just
this
saying
Diddy
stuff?
trial for the last, week and a half. He's been saying some controversial things, making some jokes, and streaming for like 6-7 hours a day, nonetheless.
just talking
and
about
at
this?
the end of his stream last night on Thursday, May 22nd, someone had tipped off local authorities in, I believe Akademiks lives in New Jersey.
So someone had called on him, or yeah, they. Oh, so he probably got swatted then, no? Swatted by some dumbass viewer.
That Snacka Diddy had been abusing his sister. Now, Akadiddler might have the suing sad boy, sexy red stunt double sausage sucked on, but he does not have a sister. He might have the suing sad boy son of Sandra's sour cream smeared on his face, but he does not have a sister. He might have a weird case, but he does not have a sister. So this was obviously a either prank call, a fake call to the local authorities,
Yeah,
but they
just to get him swatted. Damn, that is crazy. Just to come up with a lie like that.
They didn't take it as no joke. They pulled up to Akademiks' house, and we have all the footage. We're going to
damn.
watch it. Akademiks posted it on his Instagram account. What's scary, though, is the fact that whoever pulled this prank had his address. We're going to touch on why that's scary in a bit, and some other things, but first, this isn't actually the first time Akademiks' house got swatted. A few years ago, he was dating Korn actress Selena Powell, and they got into an argument, and she called the cops. They ended up swatting his house. Selena told the police some wild things. They kicked down the doors, came into his house, and Akademiks' mother was present at the house at that time. Now, of course, he also has some other weird cases, and why I brought up him covering the Diddy trial as this was going on is because the last time he was hit with an assault charge, which is still an ongoing lawsuit,
Yeah, like
he
he got
tried to
that
make it
going,
seem that the person who filed the charge had incentive to do so because of the way that he was covering the Diddy trial at that time. This was about a year and a half ago when all these civil lawsuits were being filed against Diddy from people like Cassie and Lil Rod. And Lil Rod, one of the accusers of Diddy, actually shared the same lawyer as Snacka Diddy's ex-girlfriend, Zia Abache, sorry if I'm mispronouncing that name, and she is the one who sued him for alleged RAPE and defamation. She claimed in her lawsuit that upon visiting Akademiks' home in 2022, she was met by two men who gave her substances and coerced her into drinking to inebriation before they RAPE'd her. Akademiks had spoke and maintained his innocence, saying, "I can't talk too much about this. I've paid lawyers to handle this stuff in court. These people who are coming at me are hoping that I F up by handling it on social media."
So somebody just tried to report on that too? Or like they got mad and then just decided to put that in together and then get them swatted?
The police want nothing to do with this. They're
Or
saying
is that
there
like
is
connected
no crime.
together?
He also had implied, because his ex-girlfriend who was suing shares the same lawyer as Lil Rod who was suing Diddy, Snacka Diddy said, is it possible that that person who's really seen the money grab was really the Diddy stuff? And who's the biggest guy that covered the Diddy stuff? Lil Rod's lawyer allegedly reached out to some people of mine saying, if Akademiks continues to doubt what we are purporting against Diddy, remember, we can file a lawsuit on him too. So again, he's saying that when he was reporting on the Lil Rod lawsuit against Diddy, Lil Rod's lawyer, who had filed the lawsuit, according to Akademiks, had allegedly told some of Akademiks' team that, hey, if Akademiks keeps talking crazy on these live streams while reporting this stuff, we can file a lawsuit against him too. And then, of course, Akademiks'
but like,
ex-girlfriend comes out with this lawsuit from the same lawyer. So he's implying some weird stuff is going on. And now, of course, the Diddy case has gone federal, and Akademiks has been reporting on every aspect of it. And we're seeing another individual attempt to get him in some legal trouble. So Akadidler posted some footage of what went down when the cops arrived to his house. Let's take a look at it.
So that's my police department and refuge troll swatting isn't cool. That's how you young scooters die. Oh damn.
You guys know me a lot, man. Y'all really come out here and do this? No, but like you guys.
We tried. I have people inside trying. If we're here, we got people behind the scenes, okay?
Hands up!
Yo, that is crazy. Oh, 522? That happened yesterday.
So a couple things off the rip, right? And Akademiks is completely right here to say, you know, salute to my police department and F you trolls. Swatting isn't cool. That's how young Scooter got unalived. If you look at that footage, Akademiks has a phone in his hand, right? He's walking out of his house. The police right now assume that he has his sister in there and he's been attacking her, right? Like, they're called in assuming that a crime is going on. When he comes out with his phone in his hand like that, they could mistake it for a firearm and start firing at him to, you know, protect themselves. This is a horrible prank if someone, you know, was really sick enough to think it'd be funny to, you know, call the cops on Akademiks for no reason. I mean, you see in the footage, right? Like, there's a bunch of cops with massive firearms.
They gonna end up getting the fool that did that
right,
too.
As Akademiks is tucked away in cuffs. And honestly, respect to him, he remained pretty calm throughout this entire thing. I think he'd get more nervous at a bowl of salad than he did at a bunch of cops raiding his house. So anyways, Akadidler dropped a little video explaining exactly what went down here.
Holy man, yo, check it out, man. Yo, today, interesting day. Number one, first of all y'all trolls, please just enjoy the stream. We having a good time, man. We the number one media entity in the world. Ain't nothing bigger than the chat.
That don't cover what was happening in that rap beef.
We got 30, 40,000 people watching. We the best at covering this Diddy trial, don't worry, right? For the new people who coming in, man, please, man, stop doing the weird shit, man. Like, yo, I'm a black man in America, man. Don't be calling no goddamn SWAT. What happened today was my police department, they claimed they got a call from a woman who claimed to be my sister. I don't got a sister. Who claimed that somebody got shot at my crib. They hit me up. My phone was off. I'm streaming 8 hours a day. You know me. I'm on the grind. They pulled up about 30 cars. You know what I mean? They had to do what they had to do. Took me out. You know, put me in custody real quick and searched the crib. Obviously, nobody get shot in my crib. Yeah, obviously, nobody get shot in the crib. They cleared the crib real quick. But I just want to tell y'all, man, for everybody who be swatting, like, I got to remember, number one, man, I'm not like them other streamers. I'm like a black dude that live in a white neighborhood. So when y'all call the cops, they might already think something's going on. You know what I mean? When niggas got ARs pointed at you, you never know. The shit go wrong. Obviously, I always comply with the police, but I got dogs. I got, you never know who. Imagine, like, I got family here who might not know what's going on. I don't want nobody to get hurt because if y'all like a little troll and shit, please.
Yeah, just some side people just right there just getting crossfired.
Enjoy the stream. We having a good time. Please stop.
So there was no one in there? It was just
other
him?
news. Obviously, I'm good. We're going to be back tomorrow. Love the chat. I did run it up on Kick, on Stake. It's like God. It's like God was like, I know they tried to play with you today. We ran up a little 30 bands. So, you know what I mean? Big W to the chat. Also, lastly, man, really, this is like my police department. I just want to thank them. I know they be watching me. They keep in they know what's going on with me. I want to thank them for handling this like professionals. I know they were put in a tough position today because some trolls probably, said some shit. They got to respond.
Wait, but like, hasn't he like tried to like obviously if you're gonna be streaming, like, wouldn't you want to make give content contact your police department and tell them about like just in cases of like stuff like this happens? Like they could just put you on a list on something of he does this for a living. If one of these calls happens, let's give him a call, see what's up. Like, I'm pretty sure they got something like that going.
I take no personal feelings of it. They've always treated me with the utmost class. They always hold me down. They were super quick, super professional. They handled everything, right. Salute to the captain who came out. I got to shake his hand. Again, everybody know I'm just, I love the cops, number one. I'm about to donate to them this end of this year. You know what I mean? They hold me down. I ain't gonna lie. I don't know about y'all. I don't got no problem with my police department. They're very fair people and they work very hard. But I only say that to say, please, if you fuck with me or you fuck with the chat or you watch the stream, it's not funny. Please don't do the SWAT and shit.
And hey, I'm with Akademiks here, right?
Yeah,
like,
no.
It's not a joke to just call the police department up to your house, especially for a charge as serious as that, right? And they come in with the big dogs, a bunch of cops with massive firearms, start going through your house. I mean, we know young Scooter experienced a similar thing about a month ago, and he tragically passed away from the incident. He was fleeing from cops. An unnamed woman had made several disturbing claims about what she observed outside of young Scooter's house. She had told cops that she saw a woman being dragged out of the house. The caller had claimed to be Neighborhood Watch. She told the cops that a child was in danger. She said that she suspected that house to be either a drug dealing or PR prostitution ring. And, basically urged cops to come quick because she said this woman was bleeding and held hostage. So cops arrived to the scene, and of course, young Scooter, who's clueless that, 911 has just been called to his house, fled from the back of the house with another man, and he tore a femoral artery by jumping a fence as cops chased him. When the officers went into his house and searched, they did not find a woman bleeding profusely like the caller had said, and Scooter, unfortunately, tragically, was succumbed to his injuries at a trauma center and passed away, right?
And so what happened with the caller? Like that gotta be going something wrong too.
It's a very similar situation. Someone makes a call claiming horrible things are going on in Akademiks' house. The police come, and if you're not expecting it, and maybe you have, a separate charge that you're not looking to interact with the cops at that period of time, or maybe you just, hear someone bombarding into your house really loudly with firearms. You don't know that it's the cops, so you run out the back door, whatever the case is, right? You're not expecting this.
Yeah.
And the shock of it happening so quickly can cause you to react in probably not the most cooperative way, and that can lead to some extremely dangerous things. Now, that's not the only dangerous thing, right? The other dangerous thing is, again, the fact that obviously Akademiks' house address is public knowledge at this point. I don't personally know it, but of course someone did because they made this call and knew the specific address to send cops to. This wasn't like the Neighborhood Watch caller in the young Scooter case where it was someone who lived close to him, right? And who had no idea who young Scooter was. This was someone who specifically knew who Akademiks was and said he was specifically abusing his sister A, he doesn't even have a sister,
Yeah,
but B,
like he's publicly known, and obviously they're gonna have like families like right there in like little searches too. Then they're gonna lie about that too.
had to be someone who obviously knew who Akademiks was. Now, this is extremely dangerous. Even if Akademiks has, you know, a massive gate around his property, security, whatever the case is, look at an individual like Nick Fuentes. If you guys don't know who that is, he's a white supremacist, horrible person with horrible views. However, his address was doxed online. It was leaked online. And he's had multiple people come to his house to try and attack him. I believe he had to pull out a taser on one individual who came to his house. And I mean, Akademiks,
Why would they pull up to their houses, bro? Like, what do they think is gonna happen? Well, I mean, I don't know where he's at, but if that fool's in Texas, people are gonna be getting shot.
is in somewhat of a similar boat, right? Obviously, in terms of controversy, let alone the things that he said in his streams and whatever, think about all the actual controversy he's a part of, right? That lawsuit with his ex-girlfriend that we were talking about earlier in this video. The 15-year-old kid Discord situation, right? I don't really think I need to keep going on about the many controversies of Akademiks, but just in the last week alone, he's been beefing with like 3 different female radio personalities. I'm actually going to read you guys a transcript also of a Vlad TV interview that he did where he was absolutely talking crazy about the Drake and Kendrick situation.
Nah, yeah, I seen that, and that like it's just the stuff that he's saying that just makes it all look even worse.
Really implying that things there should escalate into violence. But I say all that to say, with all of these controversial opinions, takes, behavior, whatever the case is, Akademiks, it's no secret that he's created a lot of enemies, right? And if his address is online, recipe for disaster, because things can go a lot less smoothly than they did with that interaction with the cops, right? Especially if a crazy person who really does not like Akademiks actually tries to come himself to the house instead of just trying to call the cops and mess with Akademiks. My point being, Akademiks is the last person in hip-hop who should have his address leaked online. He should think of moving somewhere else. Now, Akademiks, as you guys know, has a history of instigating violence between rappers, between people associated with rappers, and feels protected because he hides behind a computer screen.
He tried to start one with Kendrick and what's his name, Top 5?
Actually inflict himself into the conflict. He just stirs the pot, right? We've seen him do this with the War in Chirac YouTube series. We've seen him do this with 6ix9ine, being the first one to report on all of 6ix9ine's antics, asking 6ix9ine questions about different rappers to try to get him caught up in different beefs. We've seen him do the exact same thing with Drake's little minion top 5, right? I have full videos on this. You guys can look on the page. I think the video is called Akademiks is Evil. It's literally a video that documents how Akademiks has been using top 5 as a puppet for content and clicks. But in the process, he's asking top 5, who, you know, really describes himself as a killer, a gangster.
Yeah, he trying to get him to slide, bro.
Or whatever, was convicted of first-degree unaliving himself, right? And Akademiks has hosted top 5 on his stream multiple times and asked him specific questions about the Drake and Kendrick beef, with top 5 then being triggered, no pun intended, to say things like, you know, when we see Kendrick, it's on site, he can't come to Toronto. We're doing homework of the Not Like Us music video to see all the people that are in it so we know who to target. Akademiks was asking what's going to happen when Kendrick comes to Toronto for his concert. Top 5 says he's not coming. Akademiks goes, oh, but what about if he goes to New Ho King and he goes and walks around and sees the CN Tower? He's instigating it, right? He's trying to build it up for content. And I bring all this up because it's dangerous behavior, dangerous content like that can get the wrong people to want you specifically, the one who's instigating this, to face consequences for potential violence that could occur from the questions you're asking, from the pots that you're stirring, right?
Yeah, and the fact that like none of this is pretty much going out, and then people are reporting. Like, I've only seen like 2-3 channels cover this. Rapaholics, I think it was like a hip hop channel, and like a very small channel that I've only seen. Like, it was just them 3.
And I think this reached a boiling point when Akademiks was reacting to the DJ Head and Maul debate over the Kendrick Drake beef. In that debate, they were talking about how this was supposed to be a friendly fade and Drake was disrespectful by using Tupac AI vocals. Akademiks reacted to that debate and said, how was that disrespectful, but Kendrick calling Drake a PDF wasn't crossing the line? And then he compared it to how Nipsey Hussle lost his life allegedly for calling someone a snitch, and that person being so offended by being called a snitch that he ended up unaliving Nipsey. Akademiks said it's the same thing here, right? If Nipsey can get unalived for calling someone a snitch, what do you think will happen to Kendrick for calling Drake a PDF? Again, conflating this to be something bigger than a rap battle. And when you put thoughts like that
he didn't call him
into
that.
the ecosystem, into the atmosphere, right? Especially when you're, self-proclaimed the biggest hip-hop media personality in the world right now, and this is the type of narrative that you're trying to bring forth, what type of danger do you think that brings to Kendrick? What type of danger do you think that brings to yourself when you're disrespecting a West Coast legend like both Kendrick and Nipsey, and using Nipsey's tragic unaliving to prove a point about why violence should be or could be inflicted onto Kendrick? So DJ,
and like, what's to happen if if something were to happen with Kendrick, then somebody else is gonna want to do something back, and then after that, something else is gonna happen. Then other people are gonna get involved. Like, bro, like,
Vlad had
like,
sat down with Akademiks and asked him about this, right? 'Cause it's pretty outrageous to try to
I
equate
think he's trying to see what's gonna happen after all that.
Kendrick calling Drake a PDF in a rap battle to someone calling Nipsey a snitch. Sorry, Nipsey calling someone a snitch and that person unaliving Nipsey for it, right? This is a rap battle again. And I can't play you guys clips of DJ Vlad interviews because this video will get taken down, but we're going to read what Akademiks' answer was to Vlad's questions. So Akademiks is talking about how DJ Head and Maul were having a conversation, and he actually got the conversation confused. They were talking about how Drake was disrespectful for using Pac's vocals on Tailor Made, but Akademiks remembered it.
Like, I didn't even listen to that. As soon as I heard it was a Pac, like, no. And then he put Snoop on that too. I'm just like, bro, are you gonna use all this and then
as
what?
them having a conversation about DJ Head saying it wasn't disrespectful that Kendrick called Drake a PDF, which isn't true. That's not how the conversation went, but that's how Akademiks wants to spin the narrative. So Akademiks says they were having this convo about whether it's disrespectful to blatantly put a title on someone saying they're a PDF. And for him, when asked the question if he thought Drake was a PDF, he was really elusive and basically was saying almost, well, this isn't that. It's not that crazy that Kendrick did that. Akademiks says, and I really think that guy's just a D-sucker. Like, he wouldn't just admit that in the real world, if I called you an unaliver, you probably not do anything. Or maybe you just, check me. If I call you an rapist or a snitch, especially in urban cities, you're probably going to try to really F me up. These are just terms and labels and jackets that nobody wears. And I use the point of Nipsey. You see, a lot of people have changed that narrative because I think they're trying to act like there's some other conspiracy. No, Nipsey passed away because, and I'm going to quote only what I heard from prosecutors, this is how prosecutors convicted this guy. Nipsey tried to check a man and accused him of cooperating, snitching. That man felt offended by that label, and he doubled back and unalived Nipsey. That's what happened. Now, here's the thing. A lot of people love Nipsey. Nipsey's legacy is very well respected. But if you ask people who come from inner cities and these hoods and all these gangsters, a lot of people say that's kind of, if you disrespect someone who's a snitch, you're supposed to handle it right there. There's ramifications of calling someone a snitch. Like in prison, if you call someone a snitch, it's universally accepted that could potentially be an unaliving sentence. And now this is, again, Akademiks talking, right? So he could...
Yes, and the same thing, say with the stuff that's happening with Tory right now, where they say he was stabbed 14 times, I think it was. And then Rapaholics was also saying that, he's saying that it shouldn't have happened, and then he started talking about how, in his music, he was just going off about how he's top. And then I left the comments, obviously, and other people too, just saying hey, if he's gonna be talking that much through his music, what did he expect was gonna happen? Other people are gonna see that and then just wanna act, saying, hey, you think you that guy? I'm gonna just do something that makes you know that you ain't that guy.
Continues trying to make this point about Nipsey and comparing it to Kendrick, saying a lot of people, when you use certain phrases or you say certain things to certain people, that could result in unaliving, and it clearly did in Nipsey's case. Yes. So when I brought up the Kendrick situation with Drake, because people were saying, yo, Akademiks, you're having top 5 on your stream, and when top 5 is on your stream, you'd be helping to instigate something that might turn violent, and the violence might be getting out of hand or getting someone...
I don't even think he would care about all that. He's just trying to get views.
...harmed, and maybe Kendrick gets harmed, and you're the one instigating it, which is exactly what I've been saying, right? So Akademiks continues to say, and I've always liked to check every single person after I just told you the story about Nipsey. Not tell you what's right or wrong, but I need everyone to accept that when Kendrick got in the booth and decided to rap about Drake being a PDF, he accepted that it might be some consequences that come with that, right? And those consequences would be because of his own words. You don't know if Drake got a homie who's down to crash out, or Baca, who's probably going to have to change his name because every time he meets someone, they'll say, yo, what's up? And he'll say, my name is Baca. They'll say, wait, you're the one that got a weird case? So it's like, you done messed up his life, right? And these people or somebody close to them, you messed up their life. And this is how rap beef goes. I am aware of that. Because when I'm on stream and I talk about F certain people and I know somebody else that might be cool with them and might not just respond online, they might want to see me about it, right? So I said, if one of those guys were to be unalived, it's not out of the context of this battle. People have been unalived for way less harsh things. So you can see here, right? And we'll finish, the rest of Akademiks' answer. But obviously he's trying to paint this narrative that this is similar to a street situation between Nipsey and his unaliver, to where Kendrick now has to watch his back because of accusations he made against Drake in a rap battle, right? Forget the fact.
But I mean, if something's gonna happen with Kendrick, everybody's gonna know what the hell's up. They're gonna be like, oh, Drake got him. Bro, it's not that. It's gonna be very obvious. With X, people still saying that it was Drake. Like, it's just not that smart to be doing.
Fact that Drake has taken this to court over those allegations Kendrick made on Not Like Us, but Akademiks is implying that you can expect real street repercussions, and he uses this to try to back up his answer when he says that people tell him, oh, you've been instigating this situation with Top 5, making this beef go out of hand, making people imply that they might do something dangerous to Kendrick because of this battle. These are all answers they give off of questions you answer. Akademiks says, no, it's not because of the questions I ask. It's because people on Drake's team really might do something to Kendrick, because it's reasonable that if you call someone a PDF, they will retaliate with violence. I say all this to say he is so committed to trying to, obviously gain more attention by stirring up controversy, but B, also try to make Drake look like the victim here, right? For losing a rap battle. He's also gone on record, Akademiks, and said that, forget suing, he would have straight up unalived Kendrick for saying those things that he said. Right? And this is all, again, to paint Drake as the victim because he lost a rap battle. If you read the comments on DJ Vlad's video where Akademiks said all this, you get some really, smart thinking people who said stuff like, Akademiks is the only one that took this beef seriously. Or using Nipsey's unaliving as your point to make behind your fandom of Drake because he lost a rap battle is just effing nasty. And remember, Akademiks' most streamed song on his Spotify last year was Not Like Us. It's annoying how people act like Kendrick came up with this PDF angle, like people weren't already talking.
Yes, bro. Like, there was clips from many years ago talking about it. Like when he was over there kissing that one girl and filling her up on stage. And then the Millie shit. And then in his latest song, he started saying that he don't mess with it. And then he wanted to talk about how he expected the angle. Like, bro.
Talking about it. Ak is a PDF. Y'all forget what he said to that 15-year-old boy. The same way Drake brought up Kendrick's kids, saying that they could not be his, could be consequences behind those words also. Akademiks, you failed to mention that, huh? You're just mad because Drake got embarrassed. Get off your knees. Akademiks wishing unaliving on Kendrick because his boyfriend got smoked in a rap battle is wild. Akademiks had PTSD after this battle. This is basically what Akademiks is saying. I have a weird parasocial relationship with Drake because I like his music. Kendrick defeated Drake, so I took it personally,
won't admit it.
like a scorned woman, and I want something to happen to Kendrick. These are the most liked comments on this video, so at least some people are thinking sensibly, right? But I bring all this up to say, when you're creating narratives like this and almost implying that something should happen to Kendrick, you're not thinking about the repercussions that now has on you directly, right? Yes, you think you're safe.
If he's like, people are gonna obviously see that, oh, he has something to do with it, and then other things will happen
behind a computer screen. You think you're safe with your Secret Service, bodyguards and all that, but people know your address, right? Like, there was someone who called the cops on your house. The SWAT teams came because they got a call that you were abusing your sister, who you don't even have. Someone is very well aware of who you are, where you live, and they put a targeted attack on you. Think about what else could happen, especially with things that you're saying right here, right? And to spin this whole narrative, you're saying like, oh, Drake has people who might want to mess up Kendrick. It's like, okay, the way you're talking right now, I'm sure there are people who are loyal to Kendrick who are not taking the narratives and dangerous things that you are saying lightly, right? right? And people know your address right now. And I don't know, maybe I haven't been following Akademiks closely enough, but
Yeah,
to me,
'cause
this is the most dangerous narrative.
Yes. I'm not caught up with anything that he's talking about. The last I knew was that little clip that was going around saying that he didn't want to cover the Joy Badass and the Ray and Daylight, saying that it wasn't that big until Kendrick come in. That was well, I mean, that's still pretty recent, but that was the last thing I've seen, which was like 3-4 days ago, I think. And obviously that just sounded a little weird, saying that, oh, he's not gonna drop the Diddy case of watching just to do that. Like, bro, like, they dropping so much good music.
One of the most dangerous narratives that he's ever concocted, right? That because Nipsey was unalive for calling someone a snitch, there now should be real repercussions to a rap battle. Keep in mind, Akademiks was the biggest face in hip-hop media reporting this battle, right? I'm not saying the best, but I'm saying from a numbers perspective, the biggest. He was literally mentioned in the diss songs himself, right? And sampled in them. If this is the narrative that he's trying to concoct a year later when people are still looking to media personalities to speak on this beef, and this is what the biggest media personality is saying about this beef, that someone should or could face unaliving consequences from the words that they said in a rap battle, think about the impact you're having, the influence you're having
I don't even think
on
it's
the
that
general
deep.
public, right? And think about the consequences that could lead to you directly. All this instigating could lead to something really, really messed up happening to you if the wrong person takes the things you said the wrong way. And Akademiks continues, you know, they whitewash, they sanitize Not Like Us by performing it on the Super Bowl stage. Akademiks says, and every time when I bring it up, I even said, if I was Drake and I saw Kendrick and Drake didn't step to him, I would think Drake is a B-word. Let's be honest. I don't think they could see each other. There's no way those two could possibly be face to face unless it was an arranged meeting. But the point of what I'm trying to say is, if Mr. Beast made his biggest YouTube video where he's saying Vlad is a PDF and you see Mr. Beast in the streets, you're catching hands, right? You're stepping to him. That's the point I'm trying to say. This goes back to a very old saying in hip-hop, which is, I really wonder if these rappers would be dissing each other if they actually had to fight themselves when they ran into each other. So the understanding is, everyone talks and everyone takes these shots, but everyone's protected by entourages and security. When is the last time a rapper actually got into a fist fight with someone they're actually beefing with? It almost never happens. When was the last time the two rappers that are beefing ran into each other and the two of them started fighting? It's been a while. I don't remember the last time. So here's my whole thing. Everyone's insulated. That's all I'm saying. My whole thing is about the sanitization of some stuff, of some accusations that historically and normally would go left once it gets to that point.
Yeah.
I'm always consistent. This ain't only with Kendrick and Drake. I said when Nicki Minaj said some crazy things about Megan Thee Stallion's mom, if Megan Thee Stallion was me, I'm knocking her. That's what it is. Certain stuff, when you say it, when it comes out your mouth, you can say whatever you want, but that comes with an implicit understanding that the person might want to unalive you. If I'm Kanye and I run into Virgil's wife, there should be violence too. So all I'm saying is that while we have this sanitized view of how this battle is, we should be very clear because it doesn't matter if it happened now or 5 years from now, whatever it is.
Yeah, and especially if you're trying to claim to be the mediator of everything that's happening. People already know that you're biased. And then if you're pushing too hard on one side, it's going to get crazy.
Something could happen. And I only bring up the Nipsey analogy to say that that's an example of someone with the extremity of when someone doesn't like a jacket that's put on them and they disagree with it and they're down to do something about it. Again, such a stupid, disgusting point because the Nipsey stuff, you had a convicted felon be told that he was a snitch in the middle of the streets in a public interaction, right? By a massive rapper, nonetheless, a very powerful individual. This guy was obviously a nut job and decided to retaliate. You're telling me that a rap battle should yield the same consequences? Why? Because the people in Drake and Kendrick's camp can't look past the fact that this was all in the name of hip-hop, right?
Yes,
And
bro, it's all hyperbolic. If you're not gonna, well, I mean, Drake's still suing, but everything on this is hyperbolic. It's gonna obviously be over-exaggerated on stuff just to get people hyped.
that both of them had horrible
And get them
allegations against
talking.
one another. You don't think they're mature enough or we've evolved enough to the point where a rap feud between two of the biggest acts in hip-hop can't escalate to violence? I don't understand.
That's
why
why I'm
Akademiks
I'm just hoping nothing bad happens with Daylight, Joey Badass, and Vaughn. I just hope nothing goes as far as to when somebody needs to go and do something. Like, I just hope it don't get to that.
has to harp on this point that a street altercation where someone retaliated because he didn't like the accusation that the other person made against them should equate to a rap battle where one individual doesn't like the accusation made against him, so he should take violent measures, right? Drake has already taken measures in court. There doesn't need to be violence further than that, right? He took it corporate. He didn't take it to the streets or to the beats. He took it to the lawsuit. There is absolutely zero reason for Akademiks to try to put this narrative in the air that something could happen to Kendrick, and talking to Top 5, asking him questions as if something should happen to Kendrick, right? Saying, oh, I think Kendrick is going to be roaming around Toronto freely, walking to the CN Tower, walking to New Ho King. What do you have to say about that? Obviously, Top 5 is going to go crazy. And maybe it's not Top 5. Maybe he's just an entertainer. This is all BS with him, right? But there is probably someone crazy enough in Toronto listening to all this crap who will be ready to actually do something, all because of what he heard and narratives that were concocted on the clown show that is Akademiks. And again, Akademiks' home address is obviously public knowledge at this point, right? Cops were called to his house. When you keep instigating violence like this, when you keep creating these narratives, you're only putting a bigger target on your back.
Yourself,
You might think you're safe behind that computer screen, but like you said about the Drake and Kendrick battle, right? The same way that someone could catch Kendrick over things that he said if he's out in public, the same exact thing can happen to you.
Yeah, he probably feels like he really is untouchable behind that, but I just hope he doesn't say something he's just gonna want to regret.
Hopefully it doesn't, but just watch what the hell you say, man. And maybe watch where the hell you live too. Try to find a new house if people know where you live, because you've created a lot of enemies over the years. That's 100% true. But let me know what you guys think, and I will catch you in the next one.
It's just bad, man. Like, I don't know where he's staying at, but if it's anywhere near LA, man, I'm just like, he should just get out and go somewhere else. I don't know why he's still over here. Bro, what? I just feel like he's too comfortable with feeling untouchable, and shit's just gonna go right back at him, man. Alright, peace out.